So we're back. This is we're doing a live stream because I want to just be able to talk and talk and talk until I can't talk anymore about this. So we're doing a live stream to talk about the series finale of Game of Thrones and everything that comes with it. I know we talked a lot yesterday, and I did just post my review, like my regular ass review for, shorter compressed stuff to for anybody who didn't want to come to a live stream and have to sift through all that. I do want to thank everybody though yesterday for showing up to the live stream, both pre and post uh, live stream. Uh, I think it's really important that smaller YouTube channels like myself do live streams for things like this because then your actual voice can kind of be heard without having to do a super chat. Um, I really like Nerdrotic and I like Overlord DVD or Doomcock. Their takes on this, I like of ideas of Ice and Fire. I like all that stuff. But like with Nerdrotics and Doomcocks, there's so many people trying to get into that chat that it's just you can't get your voice heard unless you're ready to spend money. And I'm glad that at least here. Um, if you decide to put something in the chat, I'm gonna get to it like that day. I mean, unless all of a sudden one of those live streams like blows up crazy, uh, you know, I think it's important that a lot of your live streamers, smaller YouTubers, do this so that you don't have to pay to get our voices heard. Um, that being said, I don't even know how many people are even gonna come to this because this is on like the gaming part of YouTube. I should grab my phone real quick. So I can get into the live chat. See if I can get some people in here. Because it doesn't seem like probably anybody's gonna show up otherwise, and I might not do anything here if I can't get anybody in the room. But I still feel like I need to get a lot off my chest. So if anything, this is for posterity, like a time capsule, where I can at least go back and watch this and remember uh, what I thought of what the hell was going on in this show. I'm trying to change this to freaking. Okay. But anyway, just to get into it, it really was like people have been comparing it to the Lost series finale, the Dexter series finale. Um, Dexter, if Dexter was just a goddamn fucking train wreck for a while, um, and Lost, there is a betrayal in Lost, man. Like it just really, like it really showed. Like it sounded like early on that they knew what they were doing on that show, and it proved to all be like pretty much for nothing. Um, and then the whole thing where they're all just in in purgatory or whatever, that just really, let's all go to heaven now. We all died. We all finally died. Um, and I can't change this over to entertainment until I'm done with the live stream, so that really fucking sucks. Um, but this is worse than Lost, I think, because I think, I mean, Lost, I guess it's apples and oranges because see, what we had no idea until it was already too late that the end of Lost was happening. There was no lead up to this. There was nothing really. I mean, everybody had their theories, but there was no proof of anybody's theory until the very end. Literally, like the last few minutes of that show, even the last couple of minutes of the show. Um, So, I mean, I guess in that case, I mean, if you look at it that way, Lost was a worst series finale. But this is like, Lost had all of its seasons, to me, were all pretty good television. Season 8 of Game of Thrones and the series finale included is like the worst final season slash series finale of a show I've ever seen. And I don't remember, like, I care so much and I don't care at all. Like, watching it, I couldn't care about anything except for, like Dinklage, who was doing a really, really, really good job. Too little too late for the writers, to try to make him smart again. But, like, right from the freaking start, what do we have in this episode? We have a bunch of people walking around the streets of King's Landing. Everybody just walking. We see the burned out guy, and it's just like walking and walking and walking. And I was just like, oh, is that Jon Snow behind Tyrion? Like, ooh, this is riveting, riveting stuff. We have 80 minutes to finish this up, and this is what we're doing with our time. I mean, if they don't give a shit about time in this show, like where we can just jump all over the fucking place, then why did we need to see this? We all get it. We all saw what she did in the last episode. We should be getting to bigger, quicker points. But again, there's no, like, like, it's not a surprise that they did any of this. Looking at it now, like being able to watch it again and go, of course this is how they went out. It is the most lazy script I've ever seen for a series finale. The other thing that would be lazier, like, and almost as lazy as like what they did in the X Files, where they just turned it into a fucking clip show courtroom drama. Same thing with Seinfeld too, by the way. Seinfeld did the exact same thing. Seinfeld did it first though. X Files copied it. So in that way, I mean, that's really lazy script writing, man. Like, they were just like, peace out. I mean, at least Seinfeld kind of was kind of funny at times in that finale, but the X Files was just like, what is going on? And same here, like, what is going on? Are we? We're. The bad guy dies at the end of the episodes of a Disney movie, not at the beginning. Or I guess you could say this is the end, but just the whole way that they just, you see Daenerys in this is just like Maleficent character, this mad tyrant all of a sudden. It's just so jarring. Can you imagine if somebody said, okay, you can only watch 2 episodes of Game of Thrones to somebody who's never seen Game of Thrones, and you show them like one of the episodes where Daenerys is freeing all the slaves, okay, and where they all call her mother and they carry her around and shit, and then the only other episode you get to watch is the the last episode, episode 5, where she just torches everybody. Can you imagine like the effects of like, what the hell is that? What happened in the middle? And you'd say, oh well, that just basically happened in one episode. And she's bad now, and it's just so disgusting. There was I watched a thing where they asked Amelia Clark to describe with her facial expression what she thought of the script for the finale, and she like went, ugh. Whenever the statute of limitations, like contract or whatever keeps people from being able to tell the truth about what happened on a show or a movie or whatever, I just really want to know who's going to really crack first. I hope it's Dinklage. I hope it's Dinklage that sets everybody straight, because I mean, in his like videos that HBO put out, they let him say, and they kept it in, him like saying, why are we in the crypt, basically? Why are we down there in the crypt with all the dead people? Tyrion's supposed to be smart, and my character's suggestion is to put everybody where the dead people are when the guy that's coming can raise the dead. Or just comments that he's made about the writing in general. Like, just subtly, though. I mean, they were all hints going into this. It just, we never wanted to believe that it was going to be this bad. Um, so yeah, she goes out there and she just gives the speech that, you know, all right, everybody, we're not stopping here. This is just our latest stop where we burned down King's Landing, and we freed it from the tyrant that is Cersei, who Tyrion has to go find. So we spend more time of him walking around, looking around the rubble, to find out that Cersei and Jaime were barely well, basically they didn't have to to die. It's like they just the only good thing about that scene is Dinklage. Them seeing each other there, you know, seeing his family there, and breaking down and giving it 110%. Um, and as I can see here now, yeah, this is getting like no traction. But I'm gonna keep talking until I get too embarrassed that I'm talking to myself. But I'm talking to myself when I make regular videos too, so I guess it shouldn't bother me. Um, I might take this down though if nobody watches it. Um, but you know, seeing the actors laying there under the couple of rocks that are there, just it was impactful because all I could think of was they deserved better endings than this. Even though I still wanted Cersei to die, she deserved something more fitting than Jaime and her getting, I guess, crushed. I mean, it looked so much worse in the episode before. And then you see it now and you're like, oh, so I guess they just like made the rubble disappear. Did they forget about the rubble? Like the memes and everything are going up of Benioff saying, Danny forgot about the Iron Fleet. Well, I guess they forgot about the rubble that fell on top of them because there wasn't hardly any rubble around them. But again, Dinklage gives such a great performance here. But again, it's just all wasted in a hollow, empty shell of a show and a finale that doesn't give a shit. The guys are counting their money on their yachts. And so, again, like what somebody else said, the Tyrion, the guy who loves to be alive, after seeing his brother and sister, he decides, oh, that's enough for me, and I'm going to go face her in front of everybody. And I guess in this version of Tyrion, he's just decided to, like, he's committing suicide. That it's all over, he was wrong, and now everybody's dying and dead, and it's all blown up in their faces because of the writers wanting it to do this, wanting it to go this way. You know, just because they knew George's plans doesn't mean you had to follow them. If this is like exactly what George told them, you know, it doesn't mean you had to do it. But it also means that if they did do it exactly right and they couldn't come up with ideas on their own, doesn't that also say something about them? It says that they can't write. They're going to take a bunch of shit from this. If they get to keep their Star Wars jobs, they're just going to write a bunch of shit that's already been written down before. There's going to be so many references to things that we already know about in Star Wars lore or whatever. There's going to be all sorts of stupid ass nods to shit. I know it's the Knights of the Old Republic, so it's way before the original trilogy or whatever, but they're still going to fuck it up. They're still going to make it really goddamn stupid and subvert our expectations. Shit, man, we'll probably see time traveling Jedi, man. Fucking Yoda will be there, like Baby Yoda or some shit. I know it couldn't be, but just we're talking about D, B, and D. They'll Dumb and Dumber will put it in there if it makes sense or not. And it also feels like, again, like I said in my review just now, or I don't know if I said it in my review or not, but it just felt like there's a Game of Thrones going on behind the scenes of this show. When you put everything all together, This documentary that they're putting out ain't gonna be nothing to the real story of what happened behind the scenes on this in the last few years of this show. I would love, oh my god, to know, like to get somebody in a room and just say, look, off the record, just tell me. I won't fucking tell anybody. I would take it to my grave too. It'd be awesome to have that information. Um, but so let's see, where were we? So Tyrion decides to take his pin and toss it Ned Stark style, and she just immediately like, okay, why didn't she just kill him? Like fucking, just do it. In fact, I thought he was gonna kill her when he was walking up behind her, or try to and die doing it. You know what I mean? And even John was standing there. He's like, "Well, John, you could stop him," but it didn't look like John wanted to. If he was gonna do something, he didn't do shit because Jon Snow knows nothing, does nothing. He's our hero is literally like we saw him. He started out as kind of a dummy, but a good fighter and loyal, like any good dog. But Jon Snow got better, and he became a hero. And then he just got really fucking stupid as soon as season 7 started, I guess. Somewhere in season 7, I think, he got just really fucking stupid. I don't recall him. I mean, I guess in season 6, maybe. No, see, I don't know. But they made him just such a dum dum. And so Tyrion, tells her, nope, no more of this shit after they all find out what she's gonna do. And they're all sitting there like horrified, telling her, we're gonna go take over the whole fucking world. And we're gonna free everybody. And we're supposed to believe that the Dothraki, who are screaming bloody murder at the bottom of the steps, and the Unsullied, who probably can't hear her because the Dothraki are screaming right behind them, and we're supposed to believe they even heard that speech. Man, that was like empty words. She could have been saying anything. She should have had like a sign language person next to him. That would have been funny. But Missandei's dead, so her protocol droid is dead. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, hey, who wants to bet that if they keep their Star Wars deal, just make Missandei a protocol droid, and then you can bring her back. Um, I'm reading a comment. Somebody commented on my review. So I might as well, compliment them right here on here before I reply on there. SB person that just responded. Thanks for the review, Smirking Gun. Okay, I woke up this morning after watching Game of Thrones finale last night and thought, what the fuck was that? I agree with you on everything. I'm so disappointed. Worse series finale than Lost, which was bad. Dexter and second season of Netflix's The Punisher. Yep, I'm mirroring your feelings on everything. D&D wanted to be done with this series, and it showed. What a terrible way to end such a fantastic fantasy series. Ugh. Um, yeah, I mean, that person pretty much sums it up right there. And since nobody's here, I can do whatever I want. So, anyway, like, I guess I could have this on, but really, do I need it? No. Because there's nobody in the chat. Again, like I said, this is basically for posterior then, so, I can say whatever the fuck I want. And talk about whatever I want, but we're still going on about this. We're covering it all. So, yeah, she has him take him away. Why? We weren't taking prisoners before. And speaking of that, so the Unsullied aren't taking prisoners. Almost everybody gets speared up at Davos, of course, because they got nothing else for Davos to do. Uh, except be a killjoy, those guys were really looking forward to stabbing all those people. Um, we get this feeling like something's going to happen between John and Grey Worm, which was kind of anticipated going into this episode. That people thought, all right, we're going to see a John and a Grey Worm fight. Cool. And it would have been cool. I mean, again, if I was suffering from dementia, I might find this episode awesome. And I don't mean to make fun of, I'm not making fun of people with dementia. I'm just saying, like, if I didn't know what was really going on when I was watching it, I was just like, that's pretty cool looking. Because I feel like if you know this show, if you've been watching this show and you don't know what the fucking what the problems are, and you still enjoyed this, I envy you. I mean, sometimes I wish that I could just ignore these things, but this is fandom. This is fandom. Man, I'll never go away. This is the life I chose. So these are the things that break my heart. I don't have kids, so TV shows get to break my heart. Um, that sounded really sad. But so she has them taken away because yeah, they're taking prisoners. So yeah, there is no fight between John and Grey Worm then, and so she sends him away, and we get the Tyrion scene again. It's supposed to seem like he's being smart, but it's really not. It's just Dinklage's performance is so goddamn good that it kind of almost convinces you that it is smart. And it was kind of a funny little moment because I did like the part where John says love is the death of duty, and Tyrion turns on him like, did you just come up with that right now? And that was such a great line. Like he, never expected Jon Snow to say something like profound or something to him like that. Because he's the one that's always saying that stuff. Um, and so I kind of liked it, but again, just too little too late. And then Jon doing the whole thing like, I'm not going to justify what happened, and then justifies what happened. Um, yeah, pretty much like immediately too. McQueen. I like who is that guy that's talking? He looks like Jon Snow. Who's that guy? It looks like Tyrion, but it's not. It can't be Tyrion talking like this. And so, he eventually convinces him what he's got to do. And yeah, we get another cool shot of the big snow dragon, which was cool. I was like, oh, I think the dragon's, oh, yep, it's there. And it was a cool shot. Um, it means that the dragon had been there for a long time, enough to have that snow cover him like that perfectly. I mean, she's been chilling, just wandering around the fucking throne room by herself for a long time. Long enough to cover a dragon perfectly in that much snow? I know she can't be burned, but can she feel cold? Because it's cold out. She's just walking around in that stupid black, bad guy outfit, just wandering around the throne room, what? Going, like, hey, let's go burn some kids. Just waiting for Jon to show up, and again, I say, why is she there by herself with no guards? None. 0 guards. I know the dragon's a good bodyguard, but if the person you got to worry about is like people that the dragon knows, you know what I mean? That's what you keep the dragon there for the things you can see coming. You keep your guards near you for the things you can't see coming. But no, she just wanders in there. I mean, as soon as that scene starts, right, you just know. Because you go, okay, it kind of looks like the scene from the Dreams. I think it was a little bit different looking, but it's the same gist. And she's wandering around there, and you see him in the background. And as soon as I saw him in the background, which, I mean, I was already feeling it, but as soon as he was standing there, I knew it's going down right now. She's gonna die right here. And then they tried that bullshit where you don't know who got stabbed for like a split second, or maybe a little bit longer than that. And just think about this, man. First he loses Egret, and now he basically got Egret killed, right? Kind of, a little bit. I mean, she made her own choices a little, and the writers decided to kill her. I mean, she dies in the books too, but It just like Jon Snow just can't catch a break when it comes to ladies. So he just sticks her right through the heart. No words from Danny, no parting anything, just belief. And then she's down. And I went immediately as soon as she was stabbed. I was like, the dragon knows this, right? So the dragon has like a sense of her. And so it knew something was wrong and freaking, came over there. And yeah, you're thinking, uh-oh, what's going to happen? And it is intense because, John fucked up. But he stands there instead of like bailing. Okay? Because this whole thing is like the fastest Law and Order episode ever if it was in like Law and Order Westeros. Okay, so the murder happens, the big dragon comes, okay, and he just looks around at Jon, sniffs him, and is like, "Well, you're Targaryen, so you can't have done whatever this is. I don't know what." I'm gonna sniff the body, and then I'm gonna torch the Iron Throne because what? A psychic link that he had with Danny said that it, recognized what the Iron Throne meant to her, and that it meant that if she that it understood that she died for this, and so that's the symbol of the thing she wanted, and it got her killed. And so the dragon is clearly thinking that, right? It's thinking all these things, these complicated thoughts about what that Iron Throne means, and it torches it, right? I mean, that we've never been led to believe that the dragons are this smart, but apparently they are. Apparently the dragons are smart enough to know that the Iron Throne is a representation of what everybody has been fighting for on this show, and the dragon took it upon itself to say enough's enough. I'm torching that motherfucker. That is the stupidest fucking thing. It's pointy, and she got stabbed with something sharp, so yeah. I mean, it's cool seeing the Iron Throne get burned. It's how we got here. Everything goes all the way back to that. These stories are fine as long as we understand why we're here and the journey that got us there. Not just an episode villain turn bullshit. I would love to have seen this scene happen in season 10, 39 episodes from now. Okay? Or at least, like if season 7, okay, and 8 were both 10 episodes, okay? So then it would be like 19, 20 episodes from now. Like we'd still have 20 episodes to get to this. Then I'd be fine with this ending because it would make sense. Some of it would make sense. Because then the dragon picks her up and flies off to wherever. When we never see the dragon again, I even said, like, it's flying away to the person I was watching. I was like, we're never seeing that dragon again. That's it. This is goodbye. It's taking Daenerys like it never happened. Like, poof, like she was never here. Just like the dead. Like, nobody's going to believe what fucking happened. You know? This is where the stories come from. And, yeah, it's just like she's just gone. It's just like, whoop. It's all over. And we don't get any kind of resolution of, like, her going back to take the dragon, maybe taking her back to where, Khal Drogo, or whatever the fuck his name is, Jason Momoa's, buried, the place where they basically were born. Wouldn't that have been fitting for the dragon to take her back to where it all began? Even if it's not, the same place, and like it doesn't look the same. There's no, you know what I mean? Or it could have taken her back to Marine, or it could have taken her to Atlantis, or shown us something, and then show us some dragon eggs, or something. I don't know, like anything. Even if it doesn't make sense, it's something. It would be like, ooh, there could be more dragons, and maybe there's the dragons aren't dead, magic's not dead, who knows? Or show us a world that we never saw before, that maybe would hint to something from the prequels, or something. But no, we get nothing, none of it. It just, the dragon's fucking gone, and that's it. And there ain't no broken kid at the end that shows us what happened either. And so, yeah, it's done. And we find out that, of course, John tattled on himself. He turned himself in. All he had to do was say, like, I think it was Angry Joe that just said, or somebody on Angry Joe's review, where he's like, just say he smushed her and flew off, or something. There was an accident, the dragon freaked out, picked her up, and took off. There was an accident or something, you know, like it was torching. She told him to torch the Iron Throne, and something happened, and she got knocked over, and she died, and he flew off in a panic. Say that. Don't turn yourself in, but you know, like he is worse than Ned. Ned died because of his honor, but he was able to keep that freaking secret for 20 years. John is so honorable. Man, he probably told, like, if he went to a grocery store, he'd tell on himself for taking a grape. Like, he'd be a whole, how do I pay for this? I took a grape. You know, I'm not even doing the accent right or whatever. Just, McQueen, I took a grape. So he tattles on himself and gets put in fucking jail by Grey Worm, who, okay, so she's dead and everybody else is in charge now. Why is Grey Worm still in charge of jack shit? Seriously, why is he in charge of the army still when was helping burn everything down? Why does he get a say in anything? He should be in jail or dead. The Dothraki and everybody should have been taken down as soon as, like, everybody knew she was dead. The North should have fucking attacked the Dothraki and the Unsullied. I mean, if we're going by what needs to change, like, we need to get rid of these people, right? They weren't just going along with her. It wasn't one of those, if she dies, they just leave situations. The Dothraki would have gone ballistic. They would have just started all over again, trashing the place, raping and pillaging, all over the place. And at the end of this fight, they might have gotten away with it because everybody was so shell-shocked that the Unsullied and everybody else could have just gone nuts and killed like everybody, just gone ballistic. But no, we're supposed to believe that the Dothraki and the Unsullied just kind of get on a boat and fuck off somewhere. You know, we don't see the Dothraki on a boat. We saw them like on the pier, so we got to assume they're getting on boats back to wherever the hell they, back to Vasto Thrak. You know, they'll have some stories. They'll probably all die when they get there. They'll just get killed by some other, passing call. They'll just wipe them out. Hey, we used to run with the Queen of Dragons. Nobody cares. Kill them. And the Unsullied, I guess they'll go back to Marine and try to make sure that the slavers don't take over. And then somebody's got to tell Dario Naharis that he probably should have come with. He probably should have snuck on board one of the boats and came with and showed up at the last second to stop Jon Snow from killing her. I'm telling you, man, this show is going to come up with... People are going to start writing some fucking awesome fan fiction. If they haven't already. I'm sure there are people already typing on their computers like, Season 8, Episode 1, rewrite. People will get together at coffee shops and do like live readings, like table reads of like, the redux of Season 8, where just a whole bunch of us just write the episodes over again and do it right. And I don't think that's a horrible idea either. I think that's a great idea. Like, somebody should get on that. So I wish I could just trademark things by saying it, but like, table reads for Game of Thrones Season 8 fan fiction, that would be awesome. Like, because right now I've heard so many better ideas for Game of Thrones Season 8 than the writers had. Pretty much everybody's got a better idea of how this show should have gone. And that's weird when we're all kind of like on the same page as far as that, as far as the fans go, not the casual Game of Thrones viewers fans that just like go, I like to see the naked women's and the guys get their heads cuts off. The real fans, the ones that know their shit, have been paying attention, that take notes, that go to live streams, that make live streams, that do all this stuff. Those fans. There would be some incredible material. I mean, the memes that people are putting out for this show are better than the show. And they're all created by people just like you and me. So it's just... whatever. So, Jon tattles on himself, and we also assume, because Tyrion basically turned himself. He turned himself in too. They could have both just gotten the hell out of there. Um, but no, then they drag poor Tyrion out to help these new numbnuts pick a king. And it's just an excuse to get more characters we know. Like, this is the goodbye. This is the goodbye shit. We didn't need episode 2 and 4 for more goodbyes and stuff. Just think about that. All the people that loved that shit in episode 2 before everything got really bad and we were like, oh my god, episode 2 had all that great character stuff and people saying goodbye. And almost nobody's dead. So you had all that stuff in there for nothing again. And here we get more goodbyes at the end, like the end of fucking Lord of the Rings. More goodbyes, figure stuff out. All of a sudden, Bran wants to be king. He didn't want to be. I like this though. That's clever though that somebody else pointed this out. That he didn't want to be Warden of the North. He really showed what he wanted. He wanted to be king. And again, this is the most this is the shit that really gets me. Is I know, I can't prove it, but I know there's something going on with Bran. I know it. In my heart, in my soul, I know the Raven, the three-eyed Raven, is exactly where he wants to be. He is not Bran anymore. He is the three-eyed crow from the book. They call him the three-eyed crow in the book, I think. It's three-eyed Raven in the show. Or maybe it's both. I don't fucking know. But, but I think that he knew exactly where he wanted to be. He got all this. He sees all. So he just got it all in there. And Theon died for him. And the Night King got some sort of trick pulled on him. And I do believe it's like this light and dark thing. Like the Lord of Light and the Lord of Dark. Just having fucking fun and games. And all that shit about the Lord of Light, coming and we do all his job. We fight the wars. We do everything. And then he fucks off. And I wouldn't, there's just something about Bran and that smirk at the end and just him just being way too alive again and almost interesting. When all he was, I'm not interested in that. I don't want it. I don't care. You're all supposed to be where you're supposed to be. That's why we're here. But when he gets told he's king, he perks up, man. He perks the fuck up. And then we get the return of, Edmure Tully from Riverrun. We haven't seen him since, season 5? He shows up to have another more pointless scene where he gets up and tries to say that he should be king very, very awkwardly. And in any other show or any other season or any other episode, that might have been funny. But all I could think of was tick tock, tick tock. We're losing time here. And again, I guess I really shouldn't have been doing that because I wasn't interested in what was going on, but I was going, okay, what are we gonna forget to do here? And it's everything. They forgot to do everything right. And so Edmure Tully, then somebody said there's a fucking plastic water bottle in that scene that Samwell has. Whatever, I don't even care. Who cares? Fine. There was a Starbucks cup. It proves again people just were fucking off and just didn't give a shit. And the water bottle, who cares if there's a water bottle? I don't care if there's 100 water bottles. It doesn't change. It's not going to make me go, oh, that water bottle. Oh yeah, that means that they were having a. We already know it was awful. I'm surprised they weren't all just kind of having their own conversations while they were filming. If you listen really carefully, man, maybe you can hear Sansa, Maisie and Sophie talking about boys, in London or some shit. Who knows? I'm surprised we didn't see somebody just smoking a cigarette, or a fucking union guy holding a boom mic or some shit. Literally, where are the real bloopers? I want to see that. I want to see extras accidentally walk into the scene. They really should have just went all out and just because they were trolling us the whole time. I'm surprised we didn't get more. So poor Tyrion has to stand there and explain why, how to get a king. And then everybody laughs at Sam because he mentions democracy. And I guess in Westeros, they're not ready for democracy. Somebody else said, they're way too simple for democracy. You don't want the people voting for a king because they'll vote for fucking Donald Trump. So I guess in Westeros it is better that it is chosen by the higher ups and the people that have an education and things. Now, if everybody was educated, I would be going completely opposite of this. But I'm just saying, they would probably, elect some snake oil salesman to, king. But speaking of how they're doing it in the first place, you know that this is all like it doesn't make any sense how they're doing it because if the council chooses then and the way that the North gets to like do whatever it wants, you know that none of this is gonna last. This is just this little experiment while we watch like a bunch of characters from like different sitcoms show up. Like it was like Varys, like not Varys, but like Bronn and Sam and Davos and Brienne and Tyrion sitting there. It just looked like what? Like Bronn's qualified to be Master of Coin. Like our last Master of Coin was Littlefinger, and now we have Bronn. What if Littlefinger had lived through all of this somehow? I mean, I know that they would never let him live, but Bronn is Master of Coins. They're gonna go broke in like a week. Sam, why are you even bothering being a maester and all this shit? But there's no night. There doesn't need to be a Night's Watch. There shouldn't be a wall. There shouldn't be a citadel. Like all this stuff should be just gotten rid of. But Sam, he's a maester now. Because that's what he wanted to do. So that's what they're giving us. And Bronn wanted power, I guess, or money, or just being able to do nothing for the rest of his life, which is fine, valid. Brienne, man, Brienne's just, I don't even know why Brienne's there. Why isn't she hanging out with Sansa up in the north? I guess maybe they need somebody to protect Bran. But I mean, if he always sees whatever's coming. And then Podrick, poor Podrick, people were mentioning Zach Correa. Having that finale sink, it's so bad that I feel like D&D are pulling our legs or something. They're not pulling, they're just full on trolling us. They don't care. They didn't care. Yeah, it's like they sabotaged it. You're right. It feels sabotaged. It feels like when your actors can't pretend to be, happy with the show. Nah, they just brine this thing into the ground. I don't know why HBO allowed this to happen. I actually think that it's really, people want to point the blame at D&D. I blame HBO. I blame HBO for nobody being like checking these scripts, having people run these scripts by more than one pass because these feel like first drafts. And this, like I said, this is the laziest series finale script I've ever seen. I haven't actually seen it, but you know what I mean? Like, on screen, see a script play out like that, and it's like, I could have written that, man. I think most of us could have written this shit. Because there's hardly any dialogue. It's just a bunch of people walking around looking at shit. Yeah, it is true. It is true. And if they, it is HBO's fault. Why didn't they step in? AMC steps in all the time to like switch showrunners for fucking Walking Dead. Shows do this all the time. So what made them so special? What fucking deal with the devil? The D, BB, and D, Dumb and Dumber. What deal did they make that they had like final script approval? Or what? But it just, HBO should never have allowed this to happen. If they wanted this show to keep going, they should have been able to keep it going. And that's so if you don't check the work of the people that are working for you, then no wonder you get shit like Rian Johnson's Star Wars: The Last Jedi, because it's like the same exact thing. Disney handed him over complete control, and then it fucked it. And the same thing happened here. Like nobody was minding the store. Nobody was making sure that this shit was going down right. And don't tell me like that these guys are all powerful. They're just a fucking couple of screenwriters. One of them wrote X-Men Origins Wolverine. He already should be suspect. There should be people around the clock writing this shit down, paying attention so that this doesn't happen. You think this shit happened on the set of Breaking Bad? Do you think they didn't? People wouldn't have told Vince Gilligan like, "Hey man, shit's going south. Have you read the latest script?" No, never. It would have never happened. So I mean, again, if you leave the inmates in charge of the prison, don't be surprised when they just fuck off. And so that's what they did. Nobody was there to do anything, and whatever's going on with them and George, like an ego thing, like it. There's, like I said, it's like there's a Game of Thrones of its own going on behind the scenes of this show, and it's petty, just like the show. It is bullshit, like the show has become. And like I said, I'm finishing what I'm watching on HBO. I just finished Barry season. The Barry season finale was better than this. How can that be? I love that show, but I mean, Game of Thrones should be better than Barry's season 2 finale, right? And I almost feel bad for Barry. How many people turned off their TVs and didn't even watch Barry afterwards because of what happened last night? A better show probably did not get watched by a lot of people. Um, and I guess like what we're back with. We were talking about the goodbyes and the small council and everything. I'm glad I was wrong about everybody having babies. I am glad about that. I'm glad Arya wasn't pregnant. I'm glad Brienne wasn't pregnant. I mean, that we know of. Arya going off to wherever is just stupid. Like just because at one point somewhere down the line she said like what's west of Westeros, and that made her want to just. She's a free spirit, and I get it, and I would watch an Arya show. I really would, because if they got the right people behind it. But it's ridiculous now. I should be insulted. I should feel insulted too much to want to watch it. But if they were to make one, I'd just watch it out of like general, like, why not? Fuck it. Nothing matters. But so then Sansa gets to play dress up. As soon as I saw the pretty dress, I knew who that belonged to. And just the same old thing. She's back to being little Princess Sansa. She had to go through a lot of shit to get there, but she finally got her life that she wanted. She has no mom. She has no dad. She has no brother, because he fucked off to become a member of the Night's Watch, and then on the Wildling immediately as after he got there. It was like he just went there, passed through the wall, and became a Wildling again, or free folk, I should say. But yeah, and now Arya's gone. She's just all by herself. Nobody to tell her what to do. Nobody make her feel small or stupid or whatever. Or like she's got it all. She became the princess that she wanted. I mean, she has to do it in the North. But I mean, I think she's finally accepted the North, kind of like her mother did. But yeah, she has no one. She's surrounded. Her other brother is, in a wheelchair in King's Landing. So that's it. She's completely alone. And it's what you gonna do? Marry Robin Arryn? That would have been hilarious if they like Robin Arryn and her were married. Oh my god. That would have been such karmic justice. Oh my god, like, because you'd see like Robin Arryn like grabbing at her, like, "Are you gonna let me milk you? Are you gonna breastfeed me, mommy?" Oh god, that would have been worth it. That would have been worth it right there. Finding out that she's married to Robin Arryn, who fucking grew up like fast. When's the last time we saw him? Season 5 or 6? So I guess it's been a few years. So then, yeah, like what? Then John gets there and he pets Ghost. Ooh, too little, too late, in my opinion. Too little, too late, man. That is like, I almost feel like they added that. Like they said, Kit, we need you back really fast. We're gonna throw a wig on you, and we've got this fake CGI thing. We need you to pet for the series finale. I know it's a reshoot. We'll pay you $50,000 or whatever they pay people to do that shit for, and then Zach says, I don't understand how Arya didn't use her abilities for the entire season. Like, what was the point? Yep, thank you for mentioning that. What was the point of her whole thing if she's not going to use it after she got back? Like, she's just none of it had any point. It had no point. The payoff, I guess, we're just supposed to believe that because she got her revenge, because she was done with her revenge, that she didn't need that training anymore. And that she was putting away the revenge life. But it's like, come on. Then what would... And it goes right back to there was no point to it. Well, let's see. I'm going to move this thing around. Yeah, there was no point to any of it. I mean, people had good theories about how she was going to kill Grey Worm and take his face. And I think that was a great idea. Really quickly, got to switch this out. But yeah, we didn't get any of that. And it's just a freaking bummer. All these cool things, these little moments that we could have had. And instead we got people walking around, looking at things, moving chairs around, moving the chairs around, seeing... I thought I was going to snap. I thought I was going to fucking snap when the chairs were getting moved around. I'm looking at the clock and I'm going, what are... I was really close to pissing off the people I was watching this with because I was barely able to control my rage at the chair thing. I know it's supposed to be funny. It's awkward. He's all by himself and he's doesn't know what to do with himself until everybody gets there. Oh my God. And then everybody just comes in and moves the chairs again. Oh, oh my God! It was like we were watching the like a sitcom. Like what the actual fuck? And again, like I said, Gran and that smile at the end, just like I did on the live stream last night, where it was like he basically all he needed to do was do a turn to the camera, freeze frame. And just show that he had, smile and have blue eyes and do the Vincent Price laugh that's like in the end of Thriller, where Michael Jackson turns to the camera and he's got cat eyes and it's all and then fade to black, end of the show. That would have been amazing. It would have been the best trolling moment of all time. I would have actually given them props for saying like that big of a fuck you to everybody. Is that Bran was the Night King and we're all fucked. Fade to black. If you're gonna be this bad, be really, really bad. Go all fucking out. But I guess you can't go all out when AT&T cuts your budget. But seriously, they spent $200 million on this stuff. I don't know. And only 200? The biggest show. Because they were going through some stuff that shouldn't have fucking mattered. We can come up with that crap all the time, but HBO and Time or whatever was going on, it shouldn't have affected the goddamn budget for the final season of the biggest show in history. And we have to have a shortened up budget of a series finale. Hell, they might as well have done a trial episode where it was like another Tyrion's on trial again. Or maybe make it Tyrion and Jon on trial and we just run through a bunch of clips. Remember when that happened and everybody's like they're just looking at the wall where a clip would be, but because they don't have film, they're all just standing there. Or no, they have people reenact moments from the show in the courtroom. Because they don't have TV, that's how they would do reenactments in the courtroom. Oh my God, that would have been so much better. Oh my God, that would have just made me roll on the floor laughing. I would have just been on the floor like it just... a bunch of people running around setting up scenes like in like some fucking student play. In like what's left of the throne room or whatever. And again, yeah, the time jumps where we're just like, boop. Everything's fixed. Boop. It's springtime. Boop. Everybody's got a beard. I do love the meme though of Grey Worm's face when it says like everybody's reaction when people are voting for Bran to be king, and Grey Worm's got that because he always does have that face that looks like he's trying not to shit his pants, where he's just like concentrating, like don't fart. It might be shit. And um, but oh god, I mean that just totally made me lose my train of fucking thought. But I don't know. I've been talking about this for almost an hour. You're the only one here, Zach. So I do appreciate you showing up. I did this for out of for posterity's sake, to just exercise my demons. And hopefully I won't feel the need to talk about Game of Thrones in another video ever again. And I mean, who knows what's going to happen. But I wanted to get one more done so that if anybody wanted to watch it later on, or I want to watch it later on, or whatever, um, we could finally put this baby to bed. Because somebody said that there was supposed to be in the leaks when John walked into the woods with the rest of the free folk, that they were supposed to find a fresh symbol from the White Walkers that was just made. Like, I guess another, like, I would say, if they're like, symbols would mean that there would be dead bodies, like in the very first episode of the series, and that it would mean, like, again, like, dun dun dun. Uh, yeah, I'm looking forward to making vids. I don't really know what's coming up next because I need to get back to Agents of Shield season 2 videos, and I know that that's kind of a niche video for people. Um, I'm trying to think of what to review next because I've already done so much, and Game of Thrones kind of broke me, and so I'm not quite sure what to review right now. I'm going to be reviewing Brightburn on Thursday. I get to see that at on Thursday night. Um, so that'll be coming, and I assume then I'll be reviewing what the hell else comes out this weekend. I can't remember. Something else that I didn't want, didn't look too terrible. Oh no, is it? No, it's not Dark Phoenix yet. This weekend is not that. But check out the John Wick review. That's good. The John Wick movie is really good. It's full of plot holes just like this, but it's a 2-hour movie. I can kind of let that go a little bit. I mean, Avengers Endgame had plot holes too, but I love that movie. And so it's just kind of like weird to be talking about this in this way. Like it's over. The funeral is over. I feel like just a guy trying to remember a friend and can't remember. All I can remember is the bad things now. I tried watching older episodes that day, the episode where I watched Hard Home and The Lion and the Rose, and I was just like, ugh. Yeah, I've watched all of Sherlock. I love Sherlock. I want more Sherlock. That needs to come back soon. But I'd rather have more Doctor Strange right now than Sherlock if I had to choose. If I had to choose. But Doctor Strange is probably not coming out for another 2 years or so, maybe. So if they can get out some Sherlock in there in between there, I would fucking love some more Sherlock. Because, I mean, the Robert Downey Jr. movies were okay. But the TV, Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman's Sherlock is just the tits. It is just so fucking awesome. I love it. I also love, I like Sherlock, so I also really like House. Even though it's a medical show or whatever, but and yeah, I mean, here we are. We're talking about fucking Sherlock in a Game of Thrones video because that's more interesting. I mean, what was it? People have been saying that they felt more moved from the dragon and the dog at the end than anything in the episode. Just everything just kind of just happened. And it was just depressing watching all these characters that used to be so awesome just be kind of dragged out in front of us one last time. Tyrion's last line of the show is talking about how he once took a honeycomb and a jackass into a brothel. Now, again, that line might feel more appropriate if we had more episodes. So that, of course, Tyrion's last line would kind of be like something dirty. But in this, it just felt like another slap in the face. Like, why aren't we getting some really impactful speech from Tyrion about breaking the wheel and doing something for Dany? Which I was right about. That was one thing I was right about. people having no emotions for Danny's death scene really sums up the season. Yeah, because there's nothing left in our tanks except for this poisonous bile that we feel that we have to get out of our systems. And just I felt something. It was way deep down where I was just like my stomach, this empty pit in my stomach of watching this happening. Like when if you were sitting in an execution room watching somebody you loved get put to death, and just like knowing you can't do nothing about it, and you're like, come on, no, no, no. I know a lot of other people talk with a lot. You know, there's a lot of people that do these, and everybody's got their own passions. But I mean, this really fucking sucks, man. And I don't, I'm not gonna watch Watchmen. And that trailer that they had before the show, trying to get us to be excited for all the new stuff coming to HBO, and I'm like, fuck off, because it's like they jammed in like everything to make sure, hey, you might hate this, you might hate this a lot, but don't cancel on us because we've got that Reese Witherspoon fucking show coming out with and Meryl Streep's in it. And like, look, I love Silicon Valley and Curb Your Enthusiasm, but I don't need HBO to watch that right now. So like once I watch the latest John Oliver, I'm canceling my HBO until I absolutely need to bring it back or something like that. I mean, like Gary at Nerdrotic said, we don't have to keep, we don't have to cancel our subscriptions forever. But to make an impact on HBO, we all should be canceling our goddamn HBOs for at least as long as we can to show them that this isn't acceptable. Fucking Arya going off on a ship, man, should feel cool. If we had a reason, if they showed us in the next 20 episodes that should be coming out, why she wanted to do that. And we could have seen more of what she could do with her powers and all this stuff. We could have explored all the story ideas that people wanted to see. We could have seen Lady Stoneheart. All we needed to do was get rid of Dumb and Dumber, and they couldn't do it. HBO couldn't do it. They couldn't, however the contracts are or whatever incompetence went into making this deal, and the egos and the own fucking Game of Thrones behind the scenes. And this is what we get, and all I can do, I mean, I guess I don't want to end this on a negative note, because I am going to end this here, and I appreciate you being here, Zach, for a little while watching this and listening to me ramble on. You're the only witness to this video. But it's just that hopefully we can get past this sooner rather than later. Hopefully, maybe George will put out a book one of these days. Hopefully, more people will read the books and get inspired by the books. And, even though at this point, nobody should buy the books. Stop buying the books. Stop paying for George. Find a friend that has the books and borrow them from them. Don't go out and buy your own fucking copies. Watching all the way from Trinidad and Tobago. Well, that's fucking amazing. That's the best news I've heard all day. I'm serious. That is the best thing I've heard all day. Thank you for telling me that. Seriously, that is amazing. We're just a couple of guys, one in the middle of the Midwest and another one in Trinidad. Just one listening to another guy bitch about Game of Thrones. This world's amazing. This is an amazing world we live in, and an amazing time we live in. So when our alien overlords or the zombies take over, we'll have this moment. I'll remember that a long time ago, I once talked to a guy for an hour about Game of Thrones from Trinidad. And believe me, I will remember this. I have a pretty good memory for things like this. So anyway, that is a good way to end it. I mean, hopefully we can get over this. Hopefully something good can come out of this someday. Maybe we'll get some really cool fan fiction. Maybe we'll see some changes at HBO. Maybe we'll see D&D go down in flames. And maybe we'll see them get their Star Wars trilogy taken away from them. Maybe we'll start seeing better writing coming out of things. Maybe we'll see less subverting of our expectations and give us what's on the fucking page. Stop fucking around and dicking around with shit. So anyway, this is Rob at Smirking Gun Reviews saying I want to thank Zach for being my my moderator for this episode. If you like this, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that rigmarole. Otherwise, yeah, this is probably, hopefully, right now, my last word on Game of Thrones series finale. What a fucking bummer. But the world moves on. The wheel is still going. So, anyway, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye. Peace.